Not long ago, we told you about the most beautiful car in the world, the most beautiful car I've ever driven. Well, this is the one that follows that up. This is the 2025 Bentley Continental GT C for convertible. Be sure to follow along on our social channels, subscribe here to A Girl's Guide to Cars. If we put a video up in this corner, click it because we put it there for you. And for more information on this car and any car you're thinking about, go to A Girl's Guide to Cars. We're going to take a full day drive in the Bentley Continental. We're going to show you what it's like to drive. I'm going to show you what it's like to put this top up and down. We are going to show you what it looks like in the front seat, in the back seat, how to use all of the new technology, and what that hybrid engine really sounds like. The Bentley Continental has been redesigned. This is the 4th generation, and there is a lot new in this design for 2025. In fact, about 65% of the car is brand new. What you're gonna notice that is not new is the silhouette. They really perfected it with the last generation. Not only the silhouette in the GT Speed, but also the silhouette in the convertible. It looks really elegant and really beautiful. But probably the most important thing that's new is that V8 hybrid engine. It is a plug-in electric hybrid under the hood that not only gives you that power, more power than the outgoing model at 771 horsepower, but it also gives you about 50 miles of all-electric driving. So we're in the Swiss Alps, driving the Bentley Continental GT Speed, and we're actually in the soft top version. I will put the top down and drive with the top down, but it's cold and rainy today, even though it's still just past summer. It's just a very few first days of fall, but we're at about 7,000 or 8,000 feet here. We're in the clouds. We're probably going to be in the clouds all day. It's not going to burn off, and it's cold. But I'm still going to put the top down because it will be lovely in this car. It has heated seats and it will keep you warm and toasty even on a cold day. But let's talk about driving this 700 horsepower luxury car. The Bentley Continental GT is one of the most beautiful cars that you'll ever drive. It is not only beautiful to drive, it's beautiful to look at. It has that perfect exterior silhouette. It has all of this beautiful detail on the interior. And then check out this curve that we're going to go over, you guys. We're literally driving off the side of a mountain to make this hairpin turn. This entire hairpin is on a bridge extended out over the side of the mountain. The engineering in Switzerland is pretty incredible. 771 horsepower, I believe, and 700 and some odd pound-feet of torque underneath the hood of this 8-cylinder plug-in hybrid, which is an incredible detail. It's the very first plug-in hybrid from Bentley, and it is the future of Bentley. And the reason is because even though this is a plug-in hybrid and an 8-cylinder, it's more powerful than the outgoing V8 in the last model, which makes it quite the delight to drive. And when I get on a flatter road and I'm not on these curves, I'll let you hear what that sounds like. Putting the top down on the Bentley Continental GT convertible is really easy. It is a 1-button function and it does everything for you. It folds back that beautiful 7-rib cloth top. It opens the compartment in the rear and tucks it away for you. And then it actually even closes the windows, which you can open yourself, or you can leave them up. If you'd like them up, you can leave them up. And then I'm going to show you this. As a convertible, there are many challenges. One of them is wind. And so Bentley provides this windscreen that actually folds up nicely and stows in the trunk of the car. So sort of like a cargo cover. You just pull it, actually. You just pull it and fold it from the middle. And with it folded, it stows in the boot of the Bentley Continental. I love that that's how you open it. You just push the B and it stows in there. And of course, there's even a cover for it. And there's even a push button closure for the trunk. The new face of the 2025 Bentley Continental we're in the convertible version, is denoted by new headlights and by this new grille. Now the grille has a heritage feel to it. It's wide, it's gloss black in our version. And then there are these headlights, and these are a big topic of discussion. In the past, Bentley has had very iconic dual round headlights. Here you'll see that the headlights actually are stacked cubes here. There still is crystal here, so we still have this crystal. And this piece is what they're calling an eyebrow. It sweeps across the oval headlight. And then down in here, there are crystal cuts as well in sort of a Y shape that give the headlights reflection below from the crystal above. Overall, the look is really beautiful and quite elegant. You'll notice there is still the handmade Bentley badge there on the front. And over on the side, you'll see ours is the first edition model, so it has a first edition badge. We have the Bentley wheel caps that remain upright at all times, just like a perfect soldier. And we have red sport brakes on our version, as well as Pirelli performance tires. Ours is this really beautiful jet stream blue color. You'll notice there is a panel there, a little mud because we have been doing some driving in the rain and mud today. Rain and yeah, they had snow last week, so I'm grateful we didn't have snow. And on the rear, you'll see that that crystal cut headlight idea is repeated on the rear tail light. There's the Bentley badge, the Bentley name, and then of course we have dual exhaust tips, one on either side, that sort of frame the rear end of this car. Ours is the convertible edition, so you can see here there is there are headrests for everyone, and it is really, really beautiful. This is the Bentley key, and Bentley has put it in this nice little bespoke leather case, and on the back they've even stamped it with lock, unlock, and the trunk opener. And now I'm going to put my key over here in this little area, which is perfect for it, and I'm going to start it up. And I hope you noticed this. This is the rotating display. And so by turning the car on, that wood panel that covered the dash rotates to this multimedia system. But if you don't want the multimedia system, you can just tap the screen button and you get a wood veneer with these gauges. And if you don't want to look at those gauges either, hold the screen button and it rotates back to that wood veneer. If your style is to drive with as minimal digital input as possible, Bentley has you covered. The driver display screen is wide and it's digital. Now this is something that Bentley introduced in the last model, so this isn't completely new, but it is really good. And I'll show you, there's a button here that says view. So you're going to tap that view button to customize the driver display that you see in front of you. And it's really important to keep in mind that over here on the left side, you'll see the battery charge, and on the right side, you will see the fuel level that's on the fuel tank. And then you have all the basics. You know, we're driving in Europe, so this is measured in kilometers, but then we also have our engine speed over there, and then our trip and our trip odometer and our car odometer there as well. Also, you'll see here are the turn signals and bright lights. There are windshield wipers here, paddle shifters, which is really nice. While you're driving, you're able to see right here, it'll show you which gear you're in. And then our adaptive cruise and entertainment over here. We've got a multimedia system here. We have hot buttons here in case we need to reach something really quickly. Here is our driver control panel. So this is really mostly for seat control. Climate is up here, and then we've got some seat controls here, seat venting and cooling. This is our air scarf. So there is a vent here. I'll show you right here in the seat. And this will blow warm air when this setting is on. And then, and you know, let me show you this because this is kind of cool. So I can set the fan speed here. So I'm going to turn the fan speed low, and I can toggle between fan speed and temperature, and this is in Celsius. So that's why it's not 20 degrees outside. It is 20 degrees Celsius here. And then you'll see the passenger has those same options. Here are the controls for the convertible top. So I can push this button to put the convertible top down, or push it, and I do have to push and hold it to put it up. And this operates to about 35 miles an hour. And then this button is our park assist. And this allows us to find a parking spot and then decide if the car is going to escort us, or basically drive us into a parking spot. It's a little confused right now because we're up on this mountain road. There's no parking spots up here. But if I were in the city and I wanted to park, the Bentley would just do it for me. You'll also see there's an analog clock here. There are cup holders here. And then under this armrest, there is a wireless phone charger, and we have cords if we want to connect with a cord. But let's talk about this interior. There are more than 20 choices of interior colors. You can get double color. You can get, they call it a split. You can get stitching and piping, contrast stitching. You can get quilted. There are different patterns. There's so many combinations. Now, I'm going to say this navy is really beautiful. Probably not the color I would have picked out because I like cream and white. That's my jam. But this is really beautiful. And the interior leathers are made by the Bridge of Weir. Bridge of Weir is a notable tannery, and they make these beautiful bespoke leathers and ultra suedes and other materials for the interior of the Bentley Continental GT. And it is gorgeous. One of the unique and really special details in any Bentley, but the Bentley Continental especially, is the jewelry. And Bentley does call this jewelry, and that's because this badge is handcrafted by a jeweler. And these gauges look like a watch face. They're crystal topped, and then they're set in a textured bezel. So you can see that cross hatching and that textured. I can't feel it because of the crystal, but you can see it, and it's quite beautiful. We have another bezel set gauge here. This actually is a clock. Here in the center, the Bentley B is right here. And then on the stop start button, we also have that textured metal. And this is not glass topped, so you can actually feel it. It's there, and it's here on this dial. So on the temperature and fan speed dial. And you'll also find it here on the volume, on the OK, and the detail. So this allows you to scroll in or scroll out on the map, and then you'll find it on the radio search button. And then these are not the jewelry detail, but this is very nice. Our particular model is finished in dark chrome, and I want you to notice the difference between this color and this color. This is dark chrome, so you see even it shows up really nicely here. There's the dark chrome, and here is the light chrome. And this and what does this do? This turns on or off the vent. So if you want the air blowing on you, pull it out. If you don't want it, you can push it in. That allows you to select your airflow. In the Bentley Continental GT, you have several different drive modes. If there's a charge on the battery, you can drive in just E, but this is how you're going to change your drive modes. And notice here it says Sport, B, Comfort, and Custom. So right now I have it in Comfort, and I'm going to show you, it actually is showing me right there that it's ready to drive in hybrid. But if I don't want to drive it in hybrid and I want to change my drive mode, I'm just going to change this dial. So this puts it in B mode, and B mode is halfway between Sport and Comfort. So it's a little sporty, but not completely. But if I want to put it into Sport mode, and you hear that, it really gives you that pop of the V8 engine when you put it into sport mode. I can do that, and I can dial it over to, if I want to put it in custom, I can actually toggle over to custom, and then in my vehicle settings, I can find my drive mode, and I can change my custom settings. I want you to notice these rear seats. They are designed for rear passengers. I actually sat in them. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to sit in them. So this is a 2-door, 4-passenger convertible. And I'm going to pull the seat back, and it actually will stop when it feels my knees. So your driver might not do that, but the seat will do that for you. And that's actually quite a nice thing. So there is room for 4 passengers back here. It's not a ton of space. I think the rear seat is really better suited for a handbag, maybe a tote bag, your extra jacket. Your dog will be very comfortable back here. When the roof is up, it's not going to be super comfortable either. But if you do have people in the rear seat, there are 2 cup holders. There is a 12-volt power outlet, which I bet you could have configured as a cigarette lighter. There is 1 USB port, and there are window controls. There are speakers back here, but we don't have the heated vented seats and all the fancy stuff that we have up front, because this really is a convenience. It's not a car that's designed to be driven with people in the back seat all the time. Although, I think if my people were not so tall, I might insist that they ride along with me. It is a 4-seater convertible after all. And it gives you absolutely the best view. So here we are, top is down. Let's take this baby for a ride. The first thing I want you to do is notice, I'm gonna move my microphone so you really can hear, because I want you to hear the startup sound of this car. And there it is, we're ready to go. That's because it's a hybrid. It is a plug-in electric hybrid. 50 miles of range on this hybrid powertrain. There is a V8 underneath the hood, so you do have full V8 power. We're gonna creep quietly out of the parking lot, which is what you do as a good neighbor when you're in a high-performance car like this one. Now I want you to notice something. I have not restricted my hair, and I've done that on purpose because we're going to put this to the flyaway test. How much does my hair fly away while we're driving in the Bentley Continental GT, which stands, of course, for convertible. Now, in town like this, we're only going about 10 miles an hour. It's not going to fly very much. And we're going to head up the mountain where I will be able to pick up the speed and enjoy this beautiful day. It's about 50, low 50 something degrees out, 52, 55 degrees outside. It is September. We are in the Swiss Alps. I'll tell you, it's been raining all day long, raining for much of our drive. We're in the clouds. Now the sun is finally out, but I still have the air on. I still have the heat on, and I have the air scarf on, which is an air vent right here in the headrest that blows warm air on my neck. I hear it. I can definitely hear the fan, and I appreciate it, but it's not cold enough that I really can feel that if I have it or not. I feel the ambient air coming from the vents on my hands more than anything else. What I haven't done is I haven't turned on the heated seats, and I haven't turned on the heated steering wheel. It's not even that cold. Okay, so now we're getting speed up to, I'm going about 35 miles an hour now, and the hair's starting to blow a little bit more. It's still pretty good. And when I drove the Continental this summer, now that was the last model, I did notice that my hair didn't blow as much as I thought it would. And it certainly wasn't the strenuous tugging at my hair that I usually get from a convertible. Okay, so now we're up at about 45 miles an hour. And I still feel like, not only, listen, it's not really loud. I'm talking to you, and I'm not having to shout. Now, we're not on a highway with trucks and other obnoxious vehicles and traffic, but it's not overly loud. It's actually quite pleasant. And I can see, with all-wheel drive and the right tires on this car, I can see taking this for a spin on any given day, as long as it's not snowing or raining, taking this out for a spin and enjoying the sunshine and the top down wherever you are. And that is really the beautiful thing about a convertible. If you can do that anytime, then you have the right convertible. So we've driven the GTC convertible, the GTC, which means convertible, and the GT Speed, which is a coupe, and it's two-door coupe with a hard top. And I have to ask you which you think you would like better. I'm going to tell you which I think I would prefer to buy. And that is this one, the convertible. The convertible is beautiful. It's equally as beautiful as the coupe. The coupe does have that gorgeous silhouette that's probably a little nicer, a little more sinuous than the convertible, but they've done a really nice job with the convertible top in terms of creating a silhouette, a roofline that looks really beautiful, and that's not an easy thing to do in a convertible. So I have to commend Bentley's designers for creating a really beautiful convertible top. Now this one is spec'd out in navy blue. I know that's the go-to. It's spec'd out with navy blue seats. I know that's what guys like, or what many people like. My advice would be to go with a light colored seat, and that way, if you decide to drive this down out of the Swiss Alps and into someplace like Monte Carlo, or even take it to Spain for a vacation, then you're not going to fry in these seats. And even though they're cooled, and even though they're quite comfortable, on a hot day with direct sunshine, or leaving it in the parking lot just for a few minutes while, say, you run into the bank or grab a coffee, the seats can heat up and they can be really, really uncomfortable. Add to that the sun beating down on you, and it can feel like you're driving a frying pan. So one nice thing is the Bentley Continental has seatbelt extenders which pop out when you open the door to extend your seatbelt to you. And that is a really nice detail. Now, I'm gonna ride with the top down all the way back to the hotel. It's not very far. And I'm gonna do the responsible thing and get my hair out of my face with a ponytail. I always carry a ponytail holder with me because you never know when you might find yourself in a convertible. And actually this was a bit of a surprise because I did not think we would be driving the convertible. If I have my hair in a ponytail, I can actually feel the air scarf. And I've turned on my heated seat, and I'm going to turn on my heated steering wheel. It's right here. And the big news is the hybrid engine. So it is a plug-in hybrid. Bentley has said that they're going to go to all plug-ins, and that's not news because every car maker has that as a goal. And if you sell cars in Europe, it has to be a goal because no matter what's going on in the United States, in Europe, they are mandating that not only manufacturers build hybrids or emissions-free cars, but those emission-free cars are the only ones that are going to be allowed to drive in a lot of the cities. Look, more cows. Hello, cows. Can you hear them? Hear the clanking bells? That's the nice thing about a hybrid, is you get to hear nature. You can hear that. You don't have a big V12 engine fighting for your attention. You get to hear the cows. Many city centers are going to mandate that emissions-free vehicles are the ones driving their streets. So if you want to leave the city on the weekend and drive out to a place like this, you're going to need a car that can do that. And to be able to drive through these mountains with a gas-powered engine is a great thing because there aren't a lot of places to plug in here. Now, we did see some electric cars in town, so you would have to find a place, though, that easily allows you to plug in and charge your car. With a hybrid, you get those 50 miles of all-electric driving, but then you get that 771 horsepower to get you not only over these hills and around these hairpin curves very tightly, and I'm not going real fast because that's too much for me, but on the highway, I promise you, all 771 horsepower will come in handy when you're merging to get past those big slow trucks. And I'm going to show you what it's like to drive some of these beautiful roads that we've been driving today outside of Zurich, Switzerland. We're in the Swiss Alps. My first time in the Swiss Alps. Not my first time in a Bentley, and not my last time in a Bentley, I'm hoping, because this is such a beautiful car to drive. So let's talk price in the Bentley Continental GT. So the outgoing V8 model had a starting price of $245,000. This one starts at closer to $300,000. This car is just as great on city streets and regular highways where we drive all the time. But I will say it's impressive. The hybrid engine is really peppy and very, very responsive. We had plenty of power for climbing every hill, for passing slow trucks, and getting on the highway, it's really great too. I also really love the suspension. In fact, we did drive it in sport some of the time, drove it in B mode some of the time, but I also really appreciated comfort mode on some of those tight hairpin turns and windy roads. In the passenger seat, I felt very comfortable in comfort mode. If you're thinking about a Bentley Continental GT, GT Speed, or the convertible, you have a lot of thinking to do. In fact, there are many options in this car. There are more than 400 paint choices. There are more than 20 interior color choices. There are combinations of split hides or full hides. There are stitching and piping and trim and materials choices to make. You can find all of those choices on the Bentley site, and you can find more about the Bentley Continental GT and the GT convertible at A Girl's Guide to Cars.